Hello and welcome back everyone to Rocket Rabbit Commentaries run-through of Devious Dungeon. This is another goddamn barbarian.
Barbarian.
Barbarian. Dave the Barbarian.
Barbarian.
Huge but an idiot. You're gonna make me want to go and rewatch that show again, dude.
And he'll
It's actually huge, but a
swing
wimp.
at your head.
His mom and dad are the king and queen of the land of Udragoth. They've left to battle evil, and now Candy is the boss. I am so sad that that show only got one season. It is not fair.
That show was quirky. Oh, now we
Very
have
quirky.
Shield Bashing Man. You are the first human that we have seen.
Well, no, we saw him a couple levels ago.
Damn it. So, okay, so so does that mean that the environments can be different, but the bestiary is fixed?
Yeah, the bestiary is fixed depending on what levels you're in.
I see. So level 17 will always have level 17 enemies. Level 18 will always have level 18 enemies. Hey, you got another quest completion.
Yep. We will start seeing less and less of those as the game goes on, sadly, because I get quest locked about halfway through the run.
Quest locked?
Yeah, if you aren't actually rushing to complete your quests, then what can happen is you can end up having 3 quests that you cannot complete during your run.
Is it because
and what I mean by that is, in order to complete Slayer quest specifically, you'd have to go to levels that are no longer worth your time, either because their cash or experience loadout it just isn't worth grinding in.
Right, but they actually have the enemies that you need in order to do the thing.
Right.
Because as the bestiary changes, then some enemies will be new and other enemies will be extinct.
Yep. Specifically, you should notice by now that Goblin Scouts and Goblin Warriors have been effectively replaced.
Just about, yeah. More dogs, and now we have goblins riding dogs, and very soon we are going to have goblins riding other goblins that are also riding dogs.
No, we're not gonna have twin stack goblins.
You see the little one on his back. He's the real brains behind the operation.
You say that, but that's effectively what is it, Tora? I think it's Tora's character from Mortal Kombat 10. No, it's Farah and Tor. That's their name.
Well, just like the taxi cab character in Twisted Metal Black is not. I mean, that's just the zombified father. What's really driving the vehicle is the remote control holding Twisted Little Boy.
Oh.
Yes.
Have we mentioned that Twisted Metal in general is fucked up?
It is pretty fucked up. Well, it's an M-rated game. It wants to, you know, just kind of put it out there that, hey, you know, a lot of people get tired of, you know, being nice all the time. Sometimes you want to, you know, rip somebody's head off with a chainsaw, and an ice
cream truck,
or a vehicle and a neck strap. Have you ever seen oh god, what was the name of that movie? So the premise of the movie is that these two young kids are traveling across they're like road tripping, and they pick up is it Hitch? No, not Hitch. Hitchhiker? It might be called Hitchhiker. Had fucking Sean Bean as the bad guy in the remake of it. That in the 1980s classic that this dude set up a death trap. The guy was basically going to be drawn and quartered, not by horses or mules or oxen, but by cars.
I have most certainly not seen that movie.
Then you might have missed VH1's I Love the 80s.
Oh, I most certainly did. I was pretty much never interested in VH1 except when they were actually doing music videos, and even then, a lot of their music videos were for older older, more popular 80s music videos when that wasn't what I was really listening to actively at the time.
Yeah, but still, you got a pretty decent amount of pop culture exposure. I mean, if you leave a camera and a recording going on with a bunch of people, like take us for example, like we could just bring up pop culture references whenever we feel like it, and then the whole premise of I Love the 80s, of course, was just pop culture references. That was the only thing there was to the show.
I don't know, a show where the whole point is just to indulge in references. That sounds like it has a relatively limited appeal to me.
Yep, and that's why that you and I come to Video Game Commentaries, where we get to talk about the game, and especially people from whom we can buy weapons, and I see that his inventory is getting a little more sophisticated.
I mean, sure, but it's getting sophisticated by one item per purchase. Although the rapier is is this our first Speed 4 weapon? I'm not sure.
It's pretty damn fast so far. Damn. Yeah, that's pretty fucking
yeah,
fast.
I think rapier is actually a full Speed 4.
Holy shit. So where Dark Souls basically taught you over time that weapons that require a higher dexterity stat than your strength stat were usually faster, and conversely, weapons that had a higher strength requirement than your dexterity requirement were usually slower. This game will just tell you this weapon is slow and this weapon is fast.
Yep.
No powers of deduction necessary. Speed is definitely the way to go, I think. Especially when taking out those goddamn objects.
Yeah, but unfortunately, in order to get into the higher grade weapons, we'll have to replace our rapier with something that hits slightly harder but slower.
There's always a balance, and there's usually not a wrong answer.
Thankfully, in this game there isn't. Going the linear upgrade path, it won't actually hurt you like pretty much at all. We still haven't actually had our first death, which is pretty nice for me.
We haven't, yeah. Well, I mean, okay, well, we brought up, easy games in general, like Kirby, because Kirby's definitely an easy game. But would you call this game easy?
For the first half, yes. I would most certainly refer to Devious Dungeon as an easy game for about the first half. Pretty much immediately after the second boss, however, the game gets to be the game starts scaling its difficulty a little bit unfairly, but just a tad bit. It's still most certainly an enjoyable experience the whole way through, and I would actually recommend anyone that really likes Rogue Legacy to try out the Devious Dungeon. But I don't want to spend the entire commentary shitting on Rogue Legacy, because Rogue Legacy had a sequel come out this year, and it bothers me that Rogue Legacy got a sequel when it wasn't actually all that good of a goddamn game.
Well, maybe
I know it was really popular and really successful, but it wasn't actually that good, guys.
Well, neither was Borderlands 1, and Borderlands 2 was one of the best loot and shoot games ever made.
I mean, I still actually prefer Diablo 2 over Borderlands 2.
Well, yeah, but Diablo 2 is like a goddamn... Diablo 2 is not even just a masterpiece. I mean, it's a classic. People are still playing it.
Yeah. People are still playing it. Taylor and I picked up a modded version of Diablo 2 that actually has a currently active community. Like a month and a half ago. We've not actually touched it since we picked it up, but we made it all the way through Act 1 at least.
Nice. Community. Because
Community is a show I have not seen.
That show is actually quite funny, and I would recommend it, dude. Chevy Chase is hilarious in that fucking show. Like, what? Is it sexual harassment for me?
Isn't the current big issue with Chevy Chase is that he's an asshole in real life?
Well, yeah, and he plays an asshole on the show. He plays an ex-CEO that went back to community college, come to find out that he never became successful at anything in life because he's goddamn, like, psychotic at times. Like case in point, the the impression I was trying to do before we started talking over each other was in the first episode. Finally the reason why the show is called Community is because eventually, you're not talking about just a community college. You're mostly talking about, I don't know, about 6 or 7 seasons, 12 episodes apiece of basically the same 6 narrow group of characters who all, of course, come together during the pilot episode, one of them being Chevy Chase. And Chevy was sitting next to one of the other female leads, and just kind of shrugging his shoulders, looking at everybody. What? Is it sexual harassment if I say that she turns me on? And they're all just kind of emphatically nodding. Yes, it is sexual harassment. You should stop that. It's like, oh, and they say I'm old-fashioned.
Well, that is an old-fashioned mindset, dude.
Yes, it is. And misogyny continues to plague current generations as we speak.
Yep.
Oh, the coins. So how long do the coins stay on the field?
I think the coins have an on-screen lifespan of about 30 seconds. I'm not sure.
Because I noticed that these
they might actually be permanent, but I'm pretty sure I've seen some fade out. Maybe not during the playthrough so far, but in independent study prior to the playthrough. All right, we're upgrading from the rapier to the steel mace.
Sweet.
Can we get into
Ring.
an upgraded necklace, perhaps? Yes, the amulet of life.
Oblivion. Oblivion let you have 2 rings because you can only wear 1 ring on each hand. I'm not sure why, though, because you have 4 usable fingers, practically.
Because you're only allowed, in order for the ring to successfully draw mana, it has to be connected directly to your heart. That's not actually explained, but that's my bullshit explanation for it.
Well, that's like saying, I mean, what makes one finger closer to the heart than the other?
Your ring finger has a continuous vein and/or artery directly connected to your heart.
Yeah, but so does your thumb. But the reason why your thumb doesn't enter into it is because people don't wear rings on their thumbs.
Usually.
And that's why you should not check somebody's pulse with your thumb, because you will trick yourself by checking your own pulse that is in your thumb. Oh, no, wait, no, I'm sorry. You're not supposed to check. I don't fucking know. So when you check your own pulse, you're supposed to use like 2 fingers. Your ring finger, your middle finger and your index finger, if I'm not mistaken. Not your ring finger, not your pinky.
I'm not sure why you're not allowed to use your pinky. Probably because your pinky isn't nearly as sensitive as the rest of your other fingers.
Man, my pinky is like shriveled. I don't know if I ever mentioned it on the show, but when I was a kid, when I was in 3rd grade, I was playing soccer with my classmates, and I was playing goalie, and the ball, of course, came to my court. I had to block it. I did, but then my buddy Dan actually ran up and tried making the goal shot anyway, kicked the ball through my hands, and broke my pinky in the process.
Ouch.
Oh, it hurt, but I just kind of, left the game, and yeah, and then come to find out it was indeed a fracture. And I don't know if my pinky had ever really recovered from that.
I'm lucky enough to not have suffered any significant sports injuries in my youth.
Honestly, that was
but
probably
then again,
the
that's
biggest
mostly
one.
because I wasn't actually doing all that much sports stuff in my youth. Like I was a member of our city soccer team for about 2 weeks, because even though I enjoyed going to practices, I didn't actually want to be out on the field during game time.
During the game when it actually matters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could totally read that. Ow! That guy swung for 9.
Yeah, we don't actually get damage mitigation aside from additional HP. And that is a small issue that I have with the game, but it's not actually a flaw. It's directly incorporated into game balance.
Well, just just like again, Paper Mario. I feel like there's like just a giant like inflated Mario mascot that's kind of looming over every comment I make about this game. But the comparison is there that as you get more health, so too do you take more damage by the average enemy encounter.
Yeah, it's one of the weird things about the HP stat in a majority of video games. Leveling HP never honestly seems all that worth it for me.
It's only noticeable when you go backwards. As you go forwards, it feels like you're getting weaker. But then you don't come to appreciate how much you've developed until you go back and see how much you've grown. Because now enemies in level 1 don't deal shit for damage.
Yeah.
That was a good check. I saw you check that wall. Indeed, there was no secret in there.
At least from what we observed.
That
there it is.
And this is why we check.
Evil wolf.
Evil pupper. No.
Damn it.
Oh my God, we died.
Our first death, and we got a full grand for it
Glorious
too.
deeds. Resurrect.
Yes. Alright, and in the next episode, we will, alright, these are the quests that we are probably not going to finish because, yeah, Skeletal Archers are effectively gone, as are Orc Swordsmen. Be safe, everybody.
Yes, and remember, stay alive, please.